they put something in escrow, they cannot take it back or whatever. And these kind of things cannot happen, because if it's all out based, something that I get in, I have to have a right to take it back, because it's not happening. So some of these things which are at the ground level, we really need to solve it and solve it quickly.
If I can be more specific rather than general, what will really help the restructuring change in the definition under Section 219 of the Income Tax Act? That whole demerger definition is so restrictive. Now, it talks about the undertaking, and all of you guys are tax experts, so please excuse me if I am making a mistake here. But what happens that in earlier days, a lot of groups have converted the companies and the subsidiaries, which appears in the balance sheet as investment. Now that is not really the investment, that's the investment, but it's really investment for creating the operating assets on the ground, the manufacturing companies and all that. Now my understanding is today, if I have to demerge that, let us assume there's an X company which is owning 55% shares in Y company, which is a manufacturing company, operating company, have employees, everything else. If I have to demerge, that's virtually an undertaking. But if I have to demerge that, the income tax department is creating problem. It doesn't allow us to demerge. Now, as a result of what's happening, also that you are doing two things. The holding company, it trades as a significant discount. If you see any holding company, if you see the intrinsic values, some of the parts, it trades 30 to 40% discount, including the Grasin, if you see, or any other company. So if you have to unlock the value, if you want that to be, like I think that's the biggest hindrance. If that definition is amended, there will be a lot more restructuring activity. So that is something which, if you guys can take it in your forum, represent or whatever, not easy, but that's, I think that. Second thing, this artificial restriction, I really can't understand the logic, and fault is mine really. That banks are not allowed to fund the acquisition of share. You can fund the exit acquisition, but if you cannot fund the acquisition of shares. So let me give you, recently we were involved in this transaction where we sold, because of the CCI direction, Lafarge has to divest certain assets. Now it was a company, but so we were sharing the shares of the company, but virtually we are selling the whole business. But the banks, the banks cannot fund. So artificially then you go about and you first take it from some other source as a bridge finance and SPA, I mean the special purpose vehicle. You create that and then you collapse it and then banks are ready to fund it. I mean, I really don't understand that. Related issue is, since you said, which you guys have created, Index 103. Okay, I mean, there are some unintended consequences of that, which perhaps the institute or the people who work with have not thought through. Now, we had, first time I realized that, and I'm just talking because it's a public knowledge now, so I can talk much openly. When we were doing the Lafarge transaction, so we had this problem that acquirer wants to borrow the money, so he borrows the money, right, in a special purpose vehicle because he wants to acquire the company. So here, suppose the company was sold for 9,000 or whatever crore rupees. So he will have his net worth, he will have his borrowing on one side of the balance sheet, and other side he will have the investments of 9,000 crores in the shares which he has bought from the for the, let's say, Lafarge. Now, so that's only the special purpose vehicle for this limited time period. And there is an operating company which he has acquired. Now when he wants to collapse, you have two ways of doing it. Either subsidiary should be merged with the holding company, or holding company should be merged with subsidiary. Now if you try to merge subsidiary with the holding company, there is a huge cost, because that is the asset, the transfer duty, the mine transfer regulation is mind-boggling. So only thing you can do is much easier. Even in road transport, roads contract and all that, Government of India insists that you should have a special purpose vehicle. Now you have to unlock the value in a special purpose vehicle. So if you try to collapse the holding company into subsidiary, my understanding of 103 is that you can't create the goodwill because this is a company, these are the company under the common control, and therefore you have to transfer it to the reserves. Now this is a negative reserve, so day one the company becomes a BIFR. I don't think that was the really intent of 103. But so sometimes in India the problem, as Ajay was saying, you create a regulation for one reason and there are three other reasons which impact adversely. So other than ease of business, that becomes a difficulty in business. So these are the, some of the things which should be.
So I think most of all what we need is a change of the environment, both on the sides of the participants and on the sides of the regulatory authorities. So participants tend to abuse certain provisions, and then regulatory authorities try to clamp down and go to the other extreme. And that I think is very wrong. So for example, you now have triple layer of taxation on dividends, so companies started doing buybacks. You want to stop that, so private companies buyback is deemed ridiculous. Globally, if you see the trend of buybacks, it's so large and that has created so much value, and here we are destroying value. So I feel, abuses will happen. The participants have to become more mature and realize that abuses don't pay in the long run. And the authorities have to become more mature and say that, look, just because a few abuses happen, you don't go to the other extreme and kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. I think if we can change that, then a whole host of situations can be rectified.
Okay, thank you very much to all the panelists. I will request now Bhavesh to conclude and then go for the vote.
2 minutes more. Thank you, Utpal and Raj for the excellent exposition and sharing the experience. And now time to sum up. And thank you everybody of all of you who had a wonderful two-day seminar. Thanks specifically to my team, because I am the chairman of Corporate Members Committee. I am literally the chair, in literal meaning also the chairman. So all the work has been done by my team, Apurva, Neha, Vitan, and of course lots of help we received from Paras. And one